weather. Those record snow and record cold marks are continuing in the United States. This afternoon I plan on stealing the DeLorean and going back in time to lay into the genius who settled here in Colorado. Must have been July. Anyway, folks, we continue to see above average rumbles in the western United States. This is as larger rumbles and swarms take on numerous regions, including here and in the Taiwan and Japan region. Even got a flurry going on in Syria at the corner of the Mediterranean. Eyes open as things could ramp up very quickly. Up next, we're going to the explanation for why the solar wind is 10 times hotter than it should be. Well, because it's not just an outpouring node from the star expanding via plasma pressure into emptier space. There are returning magnetic field flows in the interplanetary setup. They flip every sunspot cycle, so which is on top here is arbitrary, but they ride along the central current sheet, and they keep many electrons captured in the electromagnetic system that never escape at all. They just whip back and forth around the inner system, helping to increase the temperature of that solar wind. Speaking of temperatures, here's the scary March climate map the cherry-picking percentiles group loves to use and spread around the net, but of course the better descriptive one is the departure from average. This shows the more balanced representation of Earth the last month or so. Things like this never fail to amaze me. Have you ever heard of nuclear winter? They got the idea because large volcanic outbursts cause ice ages by blocking the sun. Same as 1,000 nukes would do. But alas, we never managed to get the ancient extinction researchers to deliver a similar story. With them, it's always about the CO2 and global warming. This whole concept and the disagreement in logic is much more important than this article itself, especially the fact that you know it might not make a lot of sense. Interesting article up next on how NASA is using the ChemCams on GOES to look at 96 different chemicals in the atmosphere, each with its own spectral return, and each with different implications at various heights in the atmosphere. For example, in the thermosphere, did you know that CO2 is the second most efficient coolant of the atmosphere? Lots of subtlety there. Link is below. Up next, folks, the Devil's Staircase is a mathematical pattern. It occurs when spikes of activity or events occur at irregular and longer intervals. This is a critical piece because we know how many magnitude 6 and magnitude 7 earthquakes we are supposed to get on the longer-term average, but we also notice how they come in waves. With so many places on Earth shaking above average the last month or two, and the last 24 hours, we may be about to have a surge in larger magnitude activity. Let's go to the moon next. The 100th Lunar Impactor, confirmed by the mission, set out to spot them. This was also marking the first time a second observatory happened to be trained on the exact same spot of the moon and was able to confirm the event. SRG's X-ray view of the sky is halfway done. I am hoping it's not a broad-scale view like their teaser image here and that it has much finer detail, because some of the key collimated cosmic structures should be shining weakly in X-rays. Mapping those structures will help to get the bigger picture about the cosmic web and the feeding of material from the web down onto galaxies. Now, I am so confused by this next article. We have seen quasars, blazars, and radio galaxy jets, all with material that is relativistic, going more than 90% of the speed of light. Yet here, they are describing the wind outflows of the record quasar at 13% of the speed of light. Perhaps they do not mean the jet, but more of the low-latitude ion outflow, but that is psychotically fast for ion wind. Especially because they say this isn't sweeping up minor mass like other outflows they see, but a ton of it. So much of it, in fact, that one begins to question whether or not there might be data errors.